Greetings and welcome to your Oracle message for the day. I am Kat Morgan and I welcome you to this video, to this channel, and to this space. This is a timeless reading for the collective, so however and whenever you come across it, it's the right time for you to be getting this message. And if you are interested in finding out what our mega deck is that we've been pulling a random card every morning for our readings, you can check that out in the description down below how that was built. But today's card is the Cat's Whiskers. It's cat. It's card number 23 from Scot Howden's, yes, Oracle of Light and Dreams Oracle deck. Card number 23, Cat's Whiskers. And before we, I'm just going to say, yes, my name is Kat, and so I have some familiarity with cats in general. I've always grown up with cats, actually. And as a practicing hedge witch, I consider Abby, who you have heard periodically if you've listened to these videos more than once, if you've been on this channel more than once, as she plays with toys in the background. Sometimes you'll hear her yowl. She is a Himalayan. So I don't know if you're familiar with those, but they are kind of a hybrid cross between a Siamese and a Persian. And the reason why I'm bringing that in is because in our little image here, don't we have this girl just looks kind of like the younger Catwoman from Batman? Yes, with the little cat mask on and uniform, seems very reticent of that. And she's holding who looks very much like a Persian cat. So I have some personal information that I can relay on Persians, on that kind of thing in general, but also the idea of cat's whiskers. If you're not that familiar with cats, or it's something honestly that I, even with all of the years that I've had familiarity with cats, did not know, did not understand, but their whiskers, all animals have some form of kind of whiskers, bristles. They're not just hair, they're not just fluff, they are like antenna. They get sensory information from it that we can't even describe because we don't have any senses that correlate with that. The best way that you could say it would be it's a hearing feeling combination. And cat's whiskers, especially, I had a cat who had gone blind as she got older. And she was great. She was perfectly happy with it. She didn't realize that there was a problem, except that she would start to run into a wall and she would stop like an inch or two away from it, but she would feel it with her whiskers. She would sense it, that like almost like an echolocation kind of thing, and steer away from the wall. Cats' whiskers are extremely sensitive, and depending on what kind of feeding bowl and feeding methods that you use for a cat, if you have a cat, smaller roundish bowls, actually, because as they reach in to get the food with their mouth, their whiskers are brushing against the edges of the bowl. It's called whisker fatigue, and you can look it up online, but it's a real thing. Overload of stimulus. And that, I haven't looked in the book to see what the card says for us for today. I always want to get the messages and energy that are coming to us directly from the image itself. And these guys aren't super happy, but they are not like out to get anybody. They're not angry. They're just like, enough, enough, enough. We're done. We're done. We're taking a stand. We are done. We are not apologizing. It's over. Whatever it is, the stimulus that's been happening, we're calling an end to it. And I think, like I said, I don't know what the book says. It could be something completely different, but what is coming to me from the image itself, and again, drawing on my personal experiences for you as your reader for this card, for this channel, we can get our own sensory overloads without even realizing it. And it's something that we have become accustomed to in our developed societies. You have a high noise level, an ambient noise level, especially like in the city. I live in a large city that's never quiet. There's always, you can hear traffic, you can hear sirens, you can hear people, you can hear, all sorts of stuff. It's not quiet. You have to listen very closely to hear the quiet things, like the birds, or the wind, or your steps. You have to pay very close attention to it because it can get lost in the sensory overload. The same thing for our eyes. There's just stuff all over the place. Think of a butterfly in a field of flowers, just kind of, it could be overwhelming. The sensory overload between the fragrances that are coming through, all of the other insects that this little butterfly can sense because of that elevated sense that butterflies have, as well as all of the color, and all of that could be total sensory overload. So what does the butterfly do? She just picks, and I say she, he, it picks only one flower and narrows in on it and excludes everything else from being a part of that personal experience. And we are guided, encouraged, invited to do the same thing. Part of it starts with being mindfulness, having that mindfulness practice, having that sense of understanding what it is that we are doing, where we are, where we're going, focusing on that thing and excluding other stuff. This also happens with us with the reticular activating system as well, where our brains filter out things that it thinks we don't need. It thinks are not helpful because of what we're focusing on. So we may be focusing on things that are causing us alarm, causing us worry, causing us anxiety. And our reticular activating system of our brain will continue finding things to feed those if we allow it to. So we have our own whiskers, as it were. We have our own ways of sensing things. We have an auric field, an energetic field. It is created from the magnetic resonance that's coming from our heart brain. That's that bundle of nerves just below and to the left of the physical heart is a bundle of nerve centers. It's called the little brain or the heart brain. Then you've got the actual brain inside your skull case. The combination of those two, when you are feeling the idea of what you want and you are emotionally in approval of it, it becomes a active, interactive field with the quantum field, and you're actually changing your reality. And we know from the observer principle, from the double slit experiment, that what we pay attention to, we change. So we need to be paying attention to what we're paying attention to. And remember that word paying. We're paying. This is, our energy has value. Our attention has value, just like money. And we are paying our attention. We are putting our attention like money into something. We want to be picky. Like these guys, we want to be picky on what it is that we are paying attention to. We have said enough, enough. I am finding that quiet space. I am putting on the noise canceling headphones, or I'm closing the door, closing the window, little white noise in the background to disguise everything else. You need that space where you're not having the sensory overload. Then you can hear what you are feeling. You can hear the messages that are coming to you from God, Source, the universe, divine wisdom. Your brothers and sisters in the collective also always sending you love, support, encouragement, always. So that's the reading that I'm getting from the card itself. Feel free to share in the comments if you had any different ideas on the card, the image. The number 23 we know reduces down to a 5, and five fingers, 5 toes on each hand. Cats too, as a general rule, although they can often be polydactyl, but a lot of times they have 5 little digits on their claws, paws as well. So The number 5, a very strong universal number. I always, of course, think of Bashar's The 5 Universal Laws. The all is one and one is all. Really, that's what it boils down to. We are all one. The collective is one. The reality of this 3D experience is all connected. We are all connected with the butterflies and the bees and all of the things that we may or may not give our attention to, may or may not give our respect to. And we are encouraged and invited to be mindful of all of these things and then choose what it is we want to focus on and be mindful of that sensory overload and give our little whiskers a break. Okay, so let's take a look in the book and find out what it says for us for our card 23, Cat's Whiskers. Nurture allies and partnerships. So our keywords are unity, cooperation, collaboration, and community. Didn't we just say that? Yes, we did. So Mr. Howden says, I wanted my portrait of Catwoman and her trusty companion, Fluffy, to capture a sense of their unity. Catwoman, with her protective embrace, and Fluffy, with his don't mess with us stare, suggest that they both have each other's backs. I imagined my devious duo in their hidden lair, devising a mischievous plan, perhaps a diamond heist, or an audacious raid on the fish market. Whether they're in the middle of a cunning caper or prowling the rooftops, they know they can rely on each other through thick and thin. Our lives can be tough and challenging. Having others that we can count on to offer assistance, of advice, friendship, and protection helps us thrive, not just survive. Being aware that there are people who have our backs can reduce stress, boost our confidence and resilience, and encourage fruitful collaborations and a sense of connectedness. Just as a cat can leap farther than a human, we make each other more whole by sharing our individual strengths. And our quote is from Gail Godwin's poem. It's a story, Evensong. May their having each other make more of them both. I'm going to say that again. May their having each other make more of them both. Oh, that is so beautiful. Yes, nurture allies and partnerships. We don't have to be in competition with each other. We don't have to be in competition with ourselves. I know the world stresses competition, the fight for survival, the fight for your rights, the fight for this, the fight for that. We have fights on TV as a source of entertainment, which I still am just mind blown about. We fight as countries for things that we believe are our rights that either someone has taken or we want to take from them. Fighting is never going to be the best route to take to acquire whatever it is that we want to acquire, whatever we want to create. Fighting is not the answer. Fighting is, what is it? One of my favorite quotes from, I believe it was the Foundation series. The president of the universe, right? Laying on a beach somewhere, he says, violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. Just think about that. If you were, and I don't say you, as in you, people in general, when you are feeling competent about something, you don't feel insecure. You don't feel like you have to fight to protect it, that you have to fight to defend it. This includes your opinions. You have the right to your opinion, whether you can disagree with me. On this channel, you can disagree with your parents or your partner or your boss or whatever. You are not required to agree with anybody but yourself. And fighting, like I said, fighting yourself is never a good idea. Fighting with other people is never going to get you what you want. You might win, but you've lost everything. So consider carefully what you may be embattled about, and determine whether it is something that is worth that, whether it's worth winning. Sometimes the best course is to simply let it go. Like Mel Robbins, her new book, let them have their opinions. Let them do whatever it is that they're doing. If it's hurting you personally, you can tell them they have to stop it for you. And you can turn around and you can leave. There's always a door. There is always a door. If you are in a place where you don't feel like there's a door, it's because you are letting yourself think there is no door. As soon as you ask yourself the question, what if it all works out? What if it works out better than I imagined? As soon as you start asking yourself those kinds of questions, your brain automatically goes in a completely different direction. It is no longer in combat mode. Now it is in construction mode. Now it is in opportunity mode. Now it is in I'm going to see what my options are mode. So that's the mode you want to be in. Always. That's where we find our strength, our power, our understanding is when we take that opportunity to stop and just say, no more, I am done fighting. I'm not fighting this situation. I'm not fighting this person. I'm not fighting this ideology. I'm done. You can choose to do that too. And I encourage you to do that. And our reading for the day is encouraging you to do that as well. So that is our reading for the day. And I do hope it resonated and blessed you. Feel free again in the comments to share if you had any personal attachments with any of the part of the reading, whether it was mine or the book, the image, the number, anything like that. Feel free to share. I always love reading your comments. You know you are always going to get a personal response from me on them, always. So thank you again. Thank you for joining us on this little adventure. Have an amazing, fantastic day. If no one has told you recently, I love you, you can't say that anymore because I just said it to you. I love you. You are amazing. You can take your discernment and choose what you want for your life. You have the power to do that. And I am letting you know right now it's okay to do that, whatever it is. Stop looking for people to approve what you're doing. Okay? The people that are supposed to be part of your experience will show up as soon as you start doing it. But don't fight it anymore. Don't fight yourself. Don't fight the situation, okay? If it's an untenable situation, turn around and walk away. You know, I'm always going to be telling you that. You are powerful enough to make that determination yourself. So, I love you. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Namaste and ciao for now.